What's up, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more acid trance. This time we're going to listen to one of my all-time favorite tunes by one of my all-time favorite producers. And I say things like that a lot, but again, as with Kektek's Wicked Plastic, this one is really true. This is a tune by Pablo Gargano, so now maybe you understand what I'm talking about here, because you've heard me say, if you've been watching videos, especially the ones where I've done acid trance, that Pablo Gargano is in that field at the very least tied with someone like Michael Kors for my favorite producer ever. But again, Pablo Gargano is a very special producer for me, someone who just, blew my mind. Although, again, I've talked about it before, at first I didn't know who was blowing my mind, because the releases not only didn't say the name of the artist, they didn't even say the track names. So, it took me a little while to figure out who I was listening to, but once I realized, Pablo Gargano's music is magical. It's creative, it's innovative, it takes risks, it does things outside of typical expectations in terms of sequencing and bringing in elements, after an 8 instead of after a 16 or a 32, and then popping it out for the next 8 and then bringing it in 16 later. He just does things that are very unconventional but still work and are still very rhythmic. And I don't know, it doesn't seem like he's producing these days. I remember seeing something a few years ago that he was doing a birthday set somewhere. I don't know if that was just, he mixed a set of records or maybe he played digitally, but either way, I don't think he's been producing for a while. But ultimately, I will always be grateful for the musical legacy that he's left, even if not another note is ever produced. So like I said, we're going to listen to one of my favorite tunes ever by him. It's on his second album. The first one, Senza Volto, without face. Again, it sort of embodies the Eve sort of attitude that, bro, this isn't about who's making the tracks, not trying to become a superstar or anything. This is just about putting good-ass fucking trance on records. Call it acid trance, call it hard trance, do it what you want. This one, by this time, I believe, I don't know, it still doesn't say Pablo Gargano on it. It just says Eve Records. Oh, does it say it on here? No, it just says Girontondo. So it's funny, the only name on this is Girontondo, but that's the name of the release. And in fact, this is the wrong record. Yeah, it's like his first album, it's a 3 LP album. We're gonna listen to a tune called The Ultimate Frontier. This tune samples the first anime film I ever watched, which is the original English dub of Akira. So, Akira came out, I think, 88, sorry. I was seeing it a few years later. This is probably 94 or something like that. I saw when I was 13, 14, something like that. And, I was like, whoa, shit, this is way different from the cartoons that we have over here. So it blew my mind. And it was, I think there were better anime movies as I got older and I saw a bunch of others. It was okay, it's cool and, it's good to watch them in the original Japanese first. Then you can watch with the dub if you want to. But the original English dub of that movie holds a special place and a nostalgic place in my heart. And this track samples it, not just one line, multiple lines. And, the main drop is accentuated by a very memorable line from the film. So anyway, this is The Ultimate Frontier by Pablo Gargano. I believe this is 98. I'm going to make sure while we're warming up here. Does it say on the album? 98. This is 1998. And as you might notice, sometimes when a record is really good, or when 3 records are really good, you end up getting 6 of them. So, oh shit, I got to make sure I don't mix up which one that I've taken out from. Listen to that. Okay, I'm gonna go back. 2 things. There's the gritty, and then the fucking power transformers turn on. These are all official sounds, but yeah. Listen to that bass line. The energy transformers are just... my Discogs review of this track, I think I wrote something that has a synth layer that sounds like a cricket. I mean, it's a cricket sample, for fuck's sake. But it's brilliant. It really helps define the track. Now we're grooving. Already a lot of energy. That synth. That sort of suspense film, kind of like woodwind. Shout out to DJ Ganesh. He used this track on his Infectious mixtape that I had, which was the second one. I had listened before that. Dope mixtapes, man. And had track lists. Not everyone put track lists back then. Shout out to Ganesh again for doing that. Some of that rhythmic acid stab. Acid roar. But yeah, it's the general from the film, and he's talking to the scientists and he's saying, "We're pushing the ultimate frontier here. Control must be maintained. And if it gets out of your control, eliminate it. And don't hesitate." Again, it gets the full line, and then we're going to go to the next level. Tertiary intro.
We're pushing the ultimate frontier here. Pushing.
Keep an eye on that female time sample. It's the very first part of the sample that will come at the drop. It's still that low. Little cowbell? Wasn't really like paying attention to it, but. And now this fucking melody is wicked. You're like, oh wait, what? What? Can I have that again?
Pushing.
You want the full thing there? Wait for it.
Pushing.
What time is it? What time is it?
Time for your medicine.
They don't say Tetsuo, but Tetsuo, time for your medicine? Oh my god! She recoils in horror. Which the vibe of that fits. If you know the film, if you don't, whatever, it still works. But like, you know the movie is like... The maestro Pablo Gargano at the top of his game.
Time for your medicine.
Fragmented like half of the synth melody. And it's like fading, it's like phasing in and out of this dimension. Now we're back. And again, the idiosyncrasy of the production sequencing. It's not just like a breakdown, interlude, second breakdown, go. It's evolving, it's dropping stuff out, coming back in. Now we're into the outro, the crickets are back. By the way, the crickets on the way in and the way out of this tune, brilliant. If you're mixing into it and anyone knows the tune, they're like, oh my god, it's the ultimate frontier. And then on the way out, they like, it's like the nighttime of this tune comes as another track comes in. But we're still rocking, like. woodwind suspense film.
We're pushing the ultimate frontier here.
We also use cowbells. And again, like, we thought it was already the outro, but no, it's like another crazy little reformulation and like drop again. Now it's kind of reconfigured in a more like tribal trance kind of feel. Bringing like more bass back into it. Masterpiece. The crickets. More cinematic sounds like that.
Time for your medicine.
You motherfucker. I don't think I've ever used it all the way to the end before. I forgot. I remember the, like, that little bass for the boom, but then I forgot about that, like, rapid fire snare roll and the time for your medicine. Holy shit. So yeah, it works as a mixed opening tune, that sort of, like, epic, sort of, like, austere but also like suspenseful intro. It could work at the end of a mix, although, you know, be careful you don't scare people on the way out. Honestly, I do think the sort of star of the track is that twisted sort of wicked melody of the main part of the tune. But, you know, again, the rhythmic acid snarl is great, the cricket sound is great, that sort of suspense woodwind that I keep talking about, that was amazing. So it's another one of those tunes that, you know, you can pick your poison. There's so many different elements that really work, and again, then the way they all come together, which I think that's the real testament to Pablo's work, is tune after tune after tune, it's like they tell stories, the stories work, and there's no part of it where you're like, man, I wish that one part wasn't in the track, which, you know, sometimes that happens. There's a lot of trance and like techno over the years where like, oh man, I'm rocking, like, oh, not a huge fan of that vocal, you know, or like, oh, that one synth fucking throws it off, or like, why is this breakdown part in there, like, it's like a really cheesy part or whatever. You know, as I've gotten older, sometimes, you know, tracks that I had that feeling about, I've softened maybe a little bit, but, you know, there are still tunes where I feel like, yeah, I'll just pull out this one element to be perfect. But Gargano's tunes, it's like there's usually nothing like that. There's like no part of the track where I'm like, it doesn't work with the rest, or I don't really know if that tells the same story. It just was a, you know, epic sonic storyteller in the acid trance, hard trance domain. So big ups to him. Like I said, one of my very favorite producers of all time. And even if he never produces another note, you know, his legacy is secure in the pantheon of the all-time greats. Let me know if you like this. Let me know if you're a fan of this album. I do think that's the best track on the album, but dude, Space Travel, amazing, perfectly named. Call Waiting, it's got this sort of like, it's got some acid, but it's got sort of, you know, hard trance vibe. The more kicks, or is it the more kicks version of Escape or something like that, it's like really hard. Like, the whole album is brilliant. And again, Senza Volta, same thing, whole album brilliant. So what, you know, there's more Pablo coming, but I did want to, you know, I did On a Deep Tip, one of my very favorite from him, wanted to do The Ultimate Frontier, also one of my very favorite from him. Let me know if you're a big Pablo Gargano fan. Let me know if you like Eve. You know, a lot of the early releases, it's him and occasionally David Craig. Later releases, it started to get a little more, you know, broad in terms of other people, but you know, the first like 20, 25, it's just him and David Craig like killing it. And obviously I think David Craig's releases were at least engineered by Pablo. I know some people who like thought it was the same person. Pretty sure, I have it on good authority, they were definitely different people, and that David Craig, you know, made tracks in his own right. But I do think a lot of them were sort of made in conjunction with Pablo's expertise and, you know, assistance. So, nevertheless, hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you did. Other than that, have a good day, have a good night. I'll see you next time. Peace.